All right, we'll get started with a statement from Coach, looking ahead to the weekend, and we'll open up for questions.
Well, anytime it's Cyhawk time, it's a rivalry. Doesn't matter what we're doing. If we're wrestling, playing checkers, whatever we're doing, and this is obviously no different. As we get closer to Sunday, you hear more and more things about hype and everything else. I just got a text that showing tickets for sale on StubHub for over $900 for a wrestling match per ticket. So nowhere else but in the state of Iowa can you do that. That's pretty cool. I think Metcalf and St. John and I might sell our tickets and go to the airliner. And that's actually an NCAA violation, so we're not going to do that. Probably would cash out okay on that and reminisce about the good old days. So, but no, we're excited about it. I'll let you guys ask questions.
Got a lot of ranked guys on each side, sometimes in the same vicinity of the rankings that have a lot of different weights. Any of them jump out at you? Any matchups?
I think their lineup's more of a mystery than our lineup is because we've kind of wrestled the same lineup, and they're obviously juggling with some injuries. So, I'm sure there's some gaming going on right there. I mean, it's hard to say who's going to show up, and that's just kind of how they roll. And I mean, I don't think they're 174 wrestled last week, and he wasn't on the probables. So, anybody that's reading the probables and staying up at night trying to figure it out, go to bed because it's not going to come true, right?
What's the message to the team then, maybe for some of those guys who you don't know probably who they're preparing for then?
I think right now, there's just an excitement to go to Iowa City, and I know our guys are excited about that environment, and they want to wrestle the ranked guys. We want the best team in the mat. We want everybody to weigh in. We want everybody to wrestle. I'm sure they do too. They've been very upfront with it. So, we want the A team. We don't want anybody but the A team. So, we'll be curious to see who steps out there.
When was the last time that you remember this duel having this much excitement and anticipation? I mean, could be a
1986.
Really?
When I wrestled in it the last time. That's the last time I remember being that big of a deal. But that's been a while.
For some of us younger folks, what happened in that dual meet?
Well, that particular dual meet was really interesting because it was at Hilton, and Iowa was ranked at that time. We were ranked 1 and they were ranked 2, and we beat them pretty bad. That's when it was a home and away. We beat them pretty bad earlier in the year when the match was in Iowa City, and then we got here, and Iowa State put it to us and upset us here at Hilton. So that was I won. That's important, right? But it was a heck of a dual meet, and that's what that's the exciting part now is, and I kind of felt like. As a coach, and you come back and you start a new program or you go to a new program, you've got goals. And, one of my goals was to make Iowa State relevant, not just for Iowa State, but just for wrestling in the state of Iowa. And I think these guys are starting to do that. I mean, you can feel the hype this week, and that's the way it was when I was an athlete. It was 1 versus 2, and we're not quite at 1 and 2 yet, but we're not far off. We're at 2 and 6 or 2 and 7, depending on what poll you look at. So to get the opportunity to wrestle the second-ranked team in the nation is exciting, and I know my guys are just, it's different in that the first couple of years you knew what we had as a team, and you step out there and deep down you're afraid. This bunch ain't afraid of anything. They're not afraid of anything.
What are you looking for from Casey Swiderski and Panero Johnson, two true freshmen in this matchup for the first time?
Those guys just have a lot of self-confidence for a freshman. I wish when I was that age I had the amount of self-confidence those two guys do. They just have a lot of self-confidence, and it's hard to be great I always say it's really hard to be great if you don't have a real high opinion of yourself. Now you got to go to work and back that opinion up, of that strong self-opinion. But those guys just, they're guys that think they're going to win every time they step out there. I mean, you don't go beat a guy like Austin Gomez, maybe even on a bad day for him, if you don't think you're good.
The fearlessness you talked about with your guys, how do you trace back building to this point to where they're not afraid of, I mean, not just Iowa, but anybody, it seems like?
We continually challenge them. We try to make practice as real as we can, and that's my job. If you look at this team, prepare and train, they're competing like they train and prepare. And that's gotten a little bit better every year. So, and that's process, and that's a coach's cliche word, but it is. If you're doing the right things over and over again, then you get the right guys thinking the right way, then you got a chance.
Is there a moment where that switch flipped, or moments over the last few years where you kind of
I
saw?
think moments. I think if you look at what we did last year, I mean, we had a great dual meet season. We had guys that didn't perform at the end of the year, but those guys, if you look at the seeds in the rankings at the NCAA tournament, the guys that got on the podium were the guys that were the seeded the highest, and the guys that didn't get in the podium, we sure could have won a couple matches along the way, but. We're still a pretty young team, and then you go out and do a good job recruiting and get the right kind of guys in here, and it takes a while to get attractive enough to the right kind of guys. You have to get attractive. You got to be the pretty girl to get the date, and we got a few dates. So
Last year, Younger Bastida announced himself beating Jacob Warner and spiking his headgear. What are you looking for from that matchup specifically this year, this time around?
Younger's excited about it. We never coached him last year on throwing the headgear. We tried work, though every minute we had free minute was on the bottom, so we forgot the spiking the headgear course. He knows that rule now, so he better not do it. But that's our fault last year. That's our team point as a coaching staff. We failed. We knew he could win. We just didn't know he'd go that crazy. But no, he's ready to go, and he's got a chip on his shoulder, and he's just like Johnson and Swiderski. Though I'm better than everybody every minute of his life.
You mentioned what a hot ticket it is, but how would you describe just in general the intensity of the environment for a Cyhawk wrestling meet?
Well, I mean, yeah, there's a lot of intensity. There's a lot of, there's a storyline there that everybody's probably pretty aware of with everybody's backgrounds and everybody's history, and so that makes it for when you got two little fellows over there that get excited awful easy. So we got to get them to watch wrestling and not us. But it seems to be by the time we get to 133, they want to. Talk to us, so we'll see what happens. We know what we're getting into. It's not our first rodeo there.
All right.
Bingo.
All
All right.
right. Thank you much.